I finally, for the first time on this channel, created a video that cracked 1,000 views. And in this video, I'm going to share 6 things I did to help that video get above 1,000 views as a micro channel. Now, these 6 things are actually going to be the same things I'll be focusing on going forward to try to get my first video above 10,000 views, right? And the other thing is, I want you to make sure you watch all the way till the end, because even though I have everything listed kind of in order of importance, with the exception of the 6th item, right, the 6th thing that I did, that 6th thing is the one thing that is incidentally the least scientific or quantifiable of all the different things that I did. However, it is the one that I think is possibly the most powerful, that trumps all first 5 things that I did that I'll be sharing in this video. So make sure you stay tuned, okay, all the way through. Now, just to give you a little perspective, you know, I was calling this, calling myself, it's a micro channel, right? Just because I even feel funny calling it a small channel. Like, it's less than, way less than 1,000 views, right? So in essence, even from the time that I did, create the video, I probably even had closer to 100 subscribers, as opposed to being closer to the 200 subscribers that I'm at right now. So if you look here, you'll see, here's the channel. You can see, just to give you a general idea of all the views, because essentially I kind of 10x, you know, I only had, like, let's just say I had like closer to 100 subscribers at the time. So I basically got a video that got 10 times the number of subscribers that I had, right? Or let's say I'm closer to 200 like 5 times, right? Now, granted, we know now that, you know, subscribers, the number of subscribers you have don't necessarily always dictate how many views you would get on a video, but it does help big time though, because the more subscribers you have, the more potential you have to get views on your videos. But if you look at all my videos here, you know, 7 views, say, granted, these are the most recent ones, 15 views, but even if you start going further back, you'll see 26, 17, 27, 129. You know, I had one there that does relatively well, 13. So you can see, for the most part, all these days, like, that's typically where my videos are, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, 3 videos that, you know, crack 500 views or 400 views, right? But the one that I finally got, right here it is, okay? So it's the one here, right here. If you're in your 40s and beyond and feel financially behind, start doing this, okay? Okay, I think this is, that's basically the channel. Now, let's just go ahead and get into that very first, the very first thing. And I'm just showing you this here so you can see we're, at the time of this recording, at 1,006 views for that particular video, right? I created it on December 2nd, and we crossed those 1,000 views on, so yes, today's the 14th, yesterday 13th, so on the 12th. It took basically 10 days, right? Just to give you an idea, it took about 10 days to amass those views, and as you can see, the views have started dying out, and I'm still, you know, like in the previous 48 hours, I'm still, you know, just views are trickling in now at this point. Now, let's go ahead and get into the very first thing that I did, alright? So, which is probably the most important of all the different aspects you can look at when creating a YouTube video, okay? And it is the title, okay? The title of the video, that is probably the most important thing that you can do. And how I went about, you know, picking the title, right? If we go into the title of the video, right, it's let's see, right, so that's it. If you're in your 40s and beyond and feel financially behind, start doing this, okay? So I went after replicating proven titles, okay? So I went out there and I looked for videos, and this is something that you would do too, right? Videos in your niche that I have proven to do well, right? And what typically happens with such videos is that because they're doing well, a bunch of people start essentially copying them, right? Doing the same thing, doing the same, you know, replicating that title. However, I didn't do exactly that. I didn't replicate the title word for word per se. I just saw different elements and different aspects of things that were working in these titles, right? So I've seen a trend growing, you know, the whole idea of if you're in your 40s, you must, or here's why you must start a YouTube channel if you're in your 40s, or if you're in your 40s, you must start a YouTube channel. That had been a topic that's trending. So I saw that, and I saw a lot of things in relation to being in your 40s, and that could be, for what this applies to whatever niche you're in, right? Look for stuff that a lot of people seem to be gaining traction with, right? And I basically took that, instead of just going after that, if you're in your 40s, you must start a YouTube channel. I saw that the whole idea of being in your 40s, seems to be something that's really picking up on YouTube right now. From what I understand, there is a push to start making smaller channels, particularly channels of older creators, like say 40s and up or something like that, to be a little more visible, it's a growing audience apparently. So I saw that and I decided that, okay, well, maybe I should try to go after that. And again, this is like, obviously if you're not in your 40s, it wouldn't necessarily apply to you, but the principles and concepts I'm sharing here are things that you can do for your niche as well, right? So I looked at that, and so adding, and it doesn't have to be 40s, right? I've also noticed that if you add a specific age, like whatever your age is or whatever age you want to talk about, adding a specific age to incorporating an age and number into the title of your videos seems to help quite a bit, right? And I utilize that, and what it does is, because you're actually speaking to a particular person, so anybody in their 40s would see that and be like, oh, he's talking to me, that this is me, I fall within that, right? And then the other thing where I was looking at, in terms of like calling people out, right? Getting the attention of a certain demographic, 40s. The other aspect was people who feel financially behind, okay? So that's the other thing, right? For the most part, a lot of people are going to feel that way, right? So you combine somebody being in their 40s and then feeling like they're financially behind. That's two things attacking the same person, and they're like, ooh, geez, like, how does he know that about me, right? Or how does she know that about me? That type thing. So calling people out in your titles is definitely something that seems to work. I've seen it work for a ton of people. I tried it myself, and clearly this has turned out to be my most successful video. So the title by itself is single-handedly probably going to be the most important thing that you can take care of. Okay, now the next thing that I was looking at that I didn't necessarily pay much attention to here, or this is the next thing that I did, but I didn't put much effort into it because it's something I've been doing in all my videos anyway, right? And it's the whole idea of your thumbnail. All right, thumbnail is extremely important because obviously if you don't have that great of a thumbnail and there are other titles similar to yours in the same, the thumbnail that's the most attractive is the one that's going to get the click, and your video will get overlooked, right? But the one thing that I do know as far as like thumbnails go is that from what I understand and from what I've in my research or things that I've seen, any thumbnail that includes a person's face is typically going to do well. So like I said, I didn't put much effort into this because this is what I've been doing on most of my thumbnails. You'll see my face in much of my videos, and I didn't go into writing anything or I just had my face in the video. So that's the one thing that I made sure to do, is have my face in the video. As far as like thumbnails go, I did a little bit of research, and apparently, according to this website here, Switcher Studio, a good thumbnail would be one that's anywhere around 2% to 10%. Now, that's a pretty wide range. But hey, if you can fall within that range, you're doing pretty good. I would say like probably something like, if you take the middle, like 5%. If you can get close to 5% and up would be somewhere that's good. And my video, incidentally, let's see, if we go back to the analytics, you'll see that my video, my click-through rate was, where is it? No, it should be under reach. So my click-through rate was 4.9%. So right there, right there at the, kind of like, the 5% or better. I think 5% or better, that's probably what you're doing real well. And a lot of my videos, the majority of my videos are well below 5%. So once I start getting closer to 5%, that's where I start seeing things getting better. Okay, so that's the second thing that I was looking at. But like I said, I didn't put much effort into it, but I'm going to start putting more effort into that, trying to see if I can get my click-through rates to consistently stay at 5% or better. If I'm going to get that 10,000 view video, that's what I'll be looking at. Here's the next one, retention. Okay, this is the main. Retention is the is an extremely important factor, right? Like especially those first 30 seconds of your video, right? Those first 30 seconds of your video, a lot of times we spend, and I've been guilty of this, I used to do this a lot, spend a lot of times introducing ourselves and all that type of stuff instead of getting straight into the video and into the content of the video. And what I did in that video that crossed that 1,000 views, I started talking about the topic right away, right? I started talking about, if I said it, like if you're in your 40s and beyond, like, so the person clicks on the video and I start talking, they know that that is exactly what it is that they clicked on. I called them out right from the start, right from the start, trying to get their attention. I mean, verifying to them that this video they clicked on is not clickbait and it is exactly what I'm going to be talking about to keep them there. So those first 30 seconds are extremely important. There have been studies that have shown apparently that if you can get your retention rate at 65% or better for those first 30 seconds, people are going to be more inclined to watch longer portions of your video. In my instance, in my case, I only got for this video 49% of my viewers still watching at the 30-second mark. So that tells me there's lots of room for improvement to possibly get towards that 10,000 views, right? Now, so if I can start working towards keeping people at 65% or better, but one of the most important things, those first 30 seconds are huge. Okay, but you know, I got my first 1,000 views micro channel here, 190 from less than 200 subscribers, but that worked out for me right there. Okay, now the next thing, the fourth thing was engagement, right? So engagement is kind of a subset of retention in my eyes anyway. You know, your engagement, the average view duration, right? Or not even your average view duration. I think what's more important is the average percentage viewed, right? Because, you know, views, your different videos are going to be of different lengths. So it would be unfair to compare the average view duration of, say, an hour long video to the average view duration of a 5-minute video, right? So what you want to be looking at, which is more of a fair comparison, is the average percentage viewed. Okay. And generally speaking, I mean, for videos that would do extremely well, like from what I've come to find out, I don't know how true this is. I don't have any exact source that I can quote for you, but from what I understand, an average percentage viewed of 35% or better, 25% or better, you're probably going to be doing really well. 35% or better, that's when you might probably start getting into the conversation of getting viral, stuff like that. But in my case, this video only got 18.9% in terms of my engagement. So of course there's plenty of room there to improve and grow to help me even get to that first video of 10,000 views. And how do you go about improving engagement? Or at least what I did in this video is the whole idea of opening loops. Okay, and how I did that in this particular video, right? In this particular video, I just mentioned, and I used part of the title for that, which I guess to a certain extent might be clickbait. I even had somebody in the comments complain about that, which I'll show you. I'll address later on in the video. But the whole idea of opening a loop, right? I've said what I've said in terms of like being 40 and your 40s feeling behind, and I said do this. And in the beginning of the video I mentioned it, but I didn't say exactly what it was until later in the video. So that was my attempt to try to keep people on longer in the video, right? For those of you paying attention, I did the same thing in this video that you're watching right now, right? At the beginning, you know, when I mentioned something about like this, make sure you stay till the sixth, because the sixth thing that I did, because it might be a little more important than all the first 5, right? So that's kind of where we're working there. But the way our brains work, when the loop is open, it wants to close it, right? When we start a story, we want to hear how the story ends, right? That is the same reason why every time we watch all these series, we binge watch, because they leave us on cliffhangers at the end of the video, at the end of the episode, that leaves you wanting more, wanting to know, oh, what happened and what happened next at the end. Like the way they leave you on that cliffhanger, you feel compelled, I gotta come back and see what happens, right? It's just the way our brains work. So when you open a loop and you tell somebody something that you're going to tell them, if it's something that they really want to know about, they're going to be inclined to stick around, to want to hear the end of it and what it is that you're talking about. So that was that, right? Now, the fifth thing that I did, which is a lot easier, right, is interaction, okay? So interaction, this is where I was talking about, like, comment. This comes with, obviously, when people like, subscribe to your channel, all that type of stuff, comment, right? Usually in that video, I did encourage people to try to comment and stuff like that. And here's the most important thing when it comes to the interaction, right? When people do indeed comment, right, make sure you respond, especially if you're a micro channel, tiny channel like mine, right, where you're not getting that much attention, you're not getting that many comments that you can't keep up with them. It is so important. And I know besides like say messing with the algorithm in terms of like, if you get a lot of comments and you respond to them, so the algorithm sees that, that there's something interesting going on with your video, so it's more inclined to push it out. Besides that, just the human aspect of it, right? And I know this personally, like how many times, and you can tell me, you probably experience the same thing. How annoying is it sometimes when, let's say, you go ask a question on a particular video and you really want to know something about it, about whatever it is you're asking, and they don't respond, right? It can be extremely annoying, right? Of course, if it's a huge channel with millions of views, it's understandable that, okay, that whoever the creator is, they're not probably going to be able to get to all those comments, right? Otherwise, they would spend their entire lives answering comments, right? So once it gets to a certain point, it's not. But when you're in those beginning phases and you're trying to grow, like, there's no reason to not respond to all the comments that you get, okay? Even if they're negative. If it's a negative comment, I'll leave it on there. And with that particular video that I had, the one that got me to the 1,000 views, I responded to all the comments, and including the one, this is what I was talking about earlier that I said I was going to share, including the negative comment of someone telling me here, as you can see here, because you said start doing this instead of what one should actually be doing, I'm hitting do not recommend channel. Clickbait will get you nowhere. Bye. Okay, well, I said best of luck to you. Bye, right? I don't know what they were getting. I guess they were bothered by the fact that I didn't tell them in the title exactly, but what people forget is the title, you only have but so many characters available in the title, right? You're not going to be able to fit everything in there. But anyway, even if it's a negative comment, what a lot of people will do is they'll tend to like delete them and stuff, but once you start getting some attention on YouTube, just best believe if you're not ready for it, then don't even start. But you're going to get negative comments, right? Even the ones, and the good thing here too is, you'll see people come into your defense, right? And when people do come into your events, you see people liking the comments, right? Somebody responded here, you can read it there. And then it got 5 likes there, including my own, because I wanted the person to know that I acknowledged their comment, I liked it, right? And then someone came and gave 2 thumbs up to my response as well, and then the person was complaining they only got 1, right? But it's just the interaction, right? The interaction is really, the more you interact, the more people see that, the more they are inclined to ask questions as well, right? Because they see that you're somebody that actually responds and deals, takes the time to answer questions and stuff like that. So that's definitely it. And then for the last one, this is the one that I was saying you should stick around for, which, you might roll your eyes at the end of the day, but it is what it is, because this is one of those things that is like why I said it's like the least scientific of all of them. It's kind of intangible, no real numbers to look at. How do you determine whether you're doing it well or not? It's just, and the whole idea of being like, I was being genuinely vulnerable, right? So vulnerability seems to be something that works, and I'm not just basing it off of that one video. It's not, I don't think it's an accident. If we go back into my advanced mode of analytics, if you look at all my best performing videos of the 95 or 96 videos that I had, I think 95 videos that I have at this point, of all the videos that I have, I don't think it's a coincidence that all my best performing videos, right? So this is the top one right there, 1,005 views and 823, 700, you know. I don't think it's a coincidence that all my best performing videos are the ones where I was like the most vulnerable, right? With the exception of which one is the easiest way to make money on YouTube. All right, so that's probably the only one where I wasn't being necessarily like as vulnerable. And vulnerability, I mean, this is not stuff that I mean, yeah, of course you can fake anything, right? But when you just share certain things about yourself and you know, things going on with you that you typically, that are not the most flattering, right? People can relate to that, right? People can relate to that. And if you're genuine as well, people like that, right? So, and when I look at all these videos, right? So here, if you're in your 40s and beyond and feel financially behind, you know, like, okay, they're like, who likes to, I mean, in the video, right? I wasn't talking as if I'm super happy with where I am, right? And I'm telling other people like, hey, this is what you need to do to catch up to me. No, I was acknowledging the fact that, you know, just like you watching, like I'm probably in the same shoes as you, right? And I'm not happy with it, right? And people can relate to that. It's not a fun thing to admit. It's not like a great thing to be. It's not something to be proud of, right? The next one, you know, 4 reasons why you should start a YouTube channel. I talked about certain things there too. You just have to go watch the video. You'll understand what I'm talking about in terms of being vulnerable. I painted myself in a light, and this is not fake stuff. It's real, right? Stuff that it's not, it didn't portray me necessarily in the best possible light, but it's real. I was being vulnerable. I let it be, right? You know, I just being genuinely vulnerable, telling the truth, right? I'm starting on a YouTube channel with $0. Okay, so that one, I guess the aspect of vulnerability there in that one, where I was talking about I'm starting a YouTube channel with $0 made, putting it like $0 made and $0 made and 0 subscribers to prove it's not luck, right? Okay, I'm doing something there. The aspect of vulnerability there is like, okay, I'm putting myself out there and I'm claiming that I can do this thing. What if I don't, right? What if I don't succeed? Right? I'm, you know, end up with egg on my face, right? Type stuff. So it's just little things like that. They make the difference. But like I said, it's not, so that's not a tangible thing that you can, it's not a quantifiable thing, but it is something, it's one of those intangibles. But I've seen other creators who have blown up because of how vulnerable they're being and sharing stuff, personal things about them. I'm not saying go out there and broadcast your entire life or expose yourself. I'm not saying that, but just a little something to give people, they know, like, that people can relate to. That is what people connect to, right? So if you can sprinkle that and a little bit of that in your videos, I think it will help a ton, right? When people want to deal with people, not robots, right? That's why, yes, there's all the rage about all the hoopla about AI and all that type stuff, right? But AI is just not going to be, AI, yes, is replacing people in certain aspects, but you can't, this human connection and that's not something that's irreplaceable. Let's just put it that way. Okay. All right. I think you've watched me flap my gums for long enough, and I appreciate it, by the way, if you've been here this long. That's basically it. And these are the same things I'm going to be doing to see if we can crack that 10,000 view video. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. But these are the things, right? These are the things that have worked for me thus far. So I'm going to try to keep doing more of them. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, put them in the comment section below. And even more important, more than that, if you are one of the few that have made it this far, please put in the comments. I just want to know, right? I want to know. Put in the comments more money, right? Because that's what we're trying to do here on YouTube. At least on this channel, we're trying to make more money. Put in the comments more money. If I see that, I'll know that you're one of the few that actually made it this far into the video. Because I know most people just don't have that attention span to go that far, right? But if you're one of those, let me know. I appreciate it. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you in my next video. Ciao.